Hello, this is Jack Hammer of the Santa Rosa Press Democrat, and as you can see, I'm here live at SoFi Stadium, where tonight the San Francisco 49ers had the NFC Championship in their hands and couldn't hold on to it. San Francisco took a 10-point lead into the fourth quarter after Jimmy Garoppolo connected with George Kittle on a 16-yard touchdown completion. Los Angeles would then respond with a touchdown drive of their own to cut the lead to 17-14, and that's when the wheels started to come off for the 49ers. After Jimmy Garoppolo hit Elijah Mitchell for 21 yards to start the 49ers' next possession, and then connected with Deebo Samuel on the screen for 12, Elijah Mitchell would burst through the middle of the Rams defense for a gain of 9, and then the 49ers, facing 2nd and 1 at the Rams 44, could not pick up the first down. The 49ers rushing attack, which had been so good all year long, would not be able to pick up that first down, with Mitchell getting dropped for a loss of 1 on 2nd down, and then Kyle Juszczyk was stopped for no gain on 3rd down. Well, Kyle Shanahan would send the offense back onto the field. They wouldn't snap the ball, instead taking a delay of game before punting it away to the Rams. And then, following that up, on the Rams' first play of the following possession, Matthew Stafford threw a deep pass in the middle, and 49ers safety Jaquaski Tart played it perfectly. But instead of coming down with an interception, the ball bounced off his chest and fell to the ground. That drop gave Matthew Stafford a second chance, something that you just can't do, and he made San Francisco pay. On the next play, Stafford found Odell Beckham Jr. all alone down the left sideline for a gain of 29, throwing the personal foul penalty that was called on Jimmy Ward, and Los Angeles had an additional 15 yards, and the Rams were deep inside 49ers territory, reaching the 49ers 18 before having to settle for a 40-yard field goal to tie the game at 17. Then, with the game in the balance, Los Angeles was able to get the pass rush going, hitting Garoppolo on 1st down to force an incompletion, and flushing him out of the pocket on 2nd and 3rd down as well to force a punt. Los Angeles then gets the ball back and moves it all the way down from their own 29 to get inside of the 49ers red zone, ultimately settling for a 30-yard field goal to take a 20-17 lead and the victory. Hey Luke, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. The audio is bad. All right, well, I'll have to take a look at this when I get back to the hotel room after, and maybe we'll re-record it. But I want to get one done here at the stadium first. Can the 49ers run the ball? That was my first question that I'd asked for this game, and the answer was no. Since the start of 2019, we talked about this on Saturday. The 49ers have a 23-1 record when they attempt at least 30 runs in a game. On Sunday against the Rams, they were only able to have 19 called run plays. They ended up with 20 total, one of those being a scramble from Jimmy Garoppolo. The Rams' run defense, though, was dominant. They were able to hold San Francisco to only 2.5 yards per rushing attempt in this game. And while the Rams' defense did a good job of shutting down the 49ers' rushing attack, their offense played a large role as well in holding the 49ers' rushing attempts down. The Rams ran 42 offensive plays in the first half to only 20 for San Francisco, and we'll get more on that one below. Number 2, can the 49ers defense get to Matthew Stafford? And again, this is no. The 49ers pass rush was not able to get to Stafford like they were in Week 18. On Sunday night, they were only able to sack Stafford twice and record 9 hits. So that sounds like a big number of 9 when you say 9 hits, but that came on 52 dropbacks. The lack of pressure and the lack of hits on Stafford allowed them to carve up the 49ers defense, completing 31 of 45 attempts for 337 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Stafford was particularly lethal on 3rd down, as were the Rams in general, as they were able to convert for 1st down or touchdown on 11 of 18 3rd down attempts in the game. Not only did those conversions extend drives, but they allowed Los Angeles to keep the ball away from San Francisco offense and the running game. Stafford's leading targets, as everybody expected, were Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. The duo combined to bring in 20 receptions on 25 targets for 255 yards, with Kupp bringing down 2 touchdowns. In addition to Kupp and Beckham, tight end Kendall Blanton had a big role in the success of the Rams' passing attack. Not many people thought of Blanton. I know I didn't before the game, but he was able to catch all 5 passes thrown his way for 57 yards. And more importantly, those 5 receptions all resulted in first downs for the Rams. Number 3, can the 49ers defense stop the run? That was a yes, for the most part. The 49ers defense held Los Angeles to only 70 yards on 29 carries. But those totals don't show how important the rushing attack was for the Rams, especially in the first half. This was particularly evident on the Rams' 18-play, 97-yard drive, which led to the first touchdown of the game. During that possession, the Rams were able to pick up 38 yards on 9 rushing attempts. Those runs helped Los Angeles drain 9 minutes and 33 seconds off the clock. Los Angeles came into this game having held the ball for an average of roughly 35 minutes in the first 2 playoff games. Tonight, against the 49ers, their commitment to the running game and their ability to convert on third down allowed them to hold on to the ball for over 35 minutes. Will the 49ers be able to protect Jimmy Garoppolo? That was my question number 4. And the answer to that, for the most part, was yes until the end of the game. That's when it really became evident that they couldn't. The 49ers offensive line did a good job of protecting Garoppolo for most of the game, but once it got tied and the threat of the run game was gone, they couldn't get it done. With the game tied at 17, Garoppolo would be hit on first down when trying to throw with the pass falling incomplete. And then on second and third down, Garoppolo would have to escape pressure before throwing incompletions. One of them was almost intercepted, actually. On the next possession, Garoppolo was again pressured on first down, leading to his pass being knocked down by Greg Gaines. Then pressure on second and third down led to a loss of 2 when Garoppolo tried to dump it off to Juwan Jennings in the left flat. And then finally the game-kitchen interception as the quarterback just threw it up for grabs, trying to avoid a sack and keep them out of 4th and 20 plus. Garoppolo would finish the game 16 of 30 for 232 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But in a lot of ways, it was a tale of 2 halves for the signal caller. In the first half, Garoppolo completed 75% of his pass attempts for 133 yards. He was 8 of 12, and he had a touchdown on a long 44-yard screen to Deebo Samuel. But the second half, it was a different story. He completed only 8 of 18 attempts with a touchdown and an interception. Some of those attempts, those incompletions coming at the end of the game, as I mentioned, there was those 6 throws late in the game that kind of turned those numbers around. Before that point, he was doing pretty well. But those last 6 balls, all being incompletions, really skewed those numbers for him. And really, the 49ers at the end of the day just not able to protect the quarterback, and we saw that come to fruition finally at the end in a big moment. And then last but not least, can the 49ers hold on to the ball? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, both quarterbacks would throw an interception in the game, but the biggest play of the game was the one that San Francisco was not able to catch. As for my prediction, I had the 49ers winning by 3, 27-24. Obviously, I was wrong by that. It was the Rams coming out on top by 3. Let's take a look real quick at the so I'm going to see if there were some questions over here. Not sure. I don't see a whole lot. I do agree with this one, though, by Steve. He says if 49ers win, if Tart catches the easiest pick of the year, I think so. The 49ers were struggling a little bit at that point. They had just punted the ball to the Rams, and then the Rams tried to give it right back to them. If Tart catches that ball, the 49ers have it probably around the 35, 40-yard line with a 3-point lead. I think there was about 11 minutes left to go in the game, so there's still a lot of time, but that's going to allow the 49ers time to drain off the clock. And like I said, instead of getting an interception and having the ball somewhere near midfield, the very next play ends up being a 44-yard gain for the Rams. You get the 29-yard completion to Beckham. Jimmy Ward gets called for the personal foul, making it a total of 44 yards, 43 yards, whatever that number is. But, you just can't do that and win games in the NFL, especially when you're facing a quarterback like Matthew Stafford and what he was able to pull off at the end of the game there with that. Just a bad deal for the 49ers and a real bad deal for a guy who had a heck of a year. Jaquiski Tartt was a big-time player for the 49ers this season, and he's already owned up to it, and he said he takes ownership of that drop, and it's rough. Really rough way for that game to end. I agree with you here too, Paul. Paul says the first pass should have been a TD or a huge gain. Jimmy sailed the ball and we punted. Absolutely, that was one of them. You definitely had that throw down the middle of the field, the big gain that didn't connect. Good play call by the coach, and the quarterback doesn't connect on it. There was another one on, it was either the next drive or I think it was the next drive, the next possession. They actually had a pretty nice drive going, and Garoppolo throws a completion for a gain of 12 to Elijah Mitchell on the right side. The problem, though, was that he had Brandon Ayuk running wide open down the middle of the field. He missed him. He took the check down instead, and they end up not getting points there. And it's times like that when they don't get points on the board, when there's opportunities out there that really come to bite you. And I think when I go back and think about this game right now, pretty fresh in my mind, the 49ers lost this game, and with a lot of little things, and the Rams tried to give it to them a number of times. The 49ers had their opportunities, and they just, look at the end of the way the first half ended. The 49ers had only 20 plays in the first half to 42 for the Rams, and the 49ers are still sitting there with a 10-7 lead going in at half. They come out in the second half. They don't score on the first possession, but they score on the second one to take a 17-7 lead, a 10-point lead, and then they just kind of slowly but surely implode, and now it's going to be the Rams playing at home for this, making it 2 years in a row that the home team, one of the teams in the Super Bowl, is playing in their home stadium. Why couldn't Kyle adjust to the Rams' defensive strategy of stopping the run? I didn't see many screens. Is Jimmy just not good enough to consistently make the play? They ran a bunch of screens to Deebo Samuel, and they tried to get one out to Brandon Ayuk that Garoppolo threw into the ground. The touchdown, the 45-yard touchdown or 44-yard touchdown, the 49ers' first score came on a screen out to the right side to Samuel. So there was definitely some screen game going on there. But as far as adjusting to the Rams' D of stopping the run, they were just loading the box, had guys all around the line of scrimmage. And we've talked about this in the past. Aaron Donald in that group is a really good run defense at times in the middle, and the 49ers just could not get it done today. The Rams were much better prepared than they had been in the first two games on the defensive side in terms of stopping the run game. And then on top of that, the lack of plays for the 49ers, in some ways it was similar to the first game, but just reversed. In that first game at Levi's back in week 10, the 49ers were the ones going on the 90-play drives to score points and chewing up clock and really keeping the Rams off of the field. Tonight it was the opposite, especially in the first half. The 49ers defense could not get the Rams off the field. They had that 97-yard drive, like I said, that chewed up 9.5 minutes. And that came after a long drive in which they got all the way down here to the red zone before Jimmy Ward was able to pick off a pass that had gotten batted in the end zone. So it's just a lot of different things there. At the end of the day, players got to make plays to win games, and tonight the 49ers players just didn't have enough guys make plays. Yeah, I agree with that. Paul, where you say we had no run game and Jimmy was 3/4 of our offense, and why we lost. I would say that the 49ers lost in part because of Jimmy Garoppolo missing a couple of throws. I would put it equally on him, equally on Jaquaski Tartt, and the defense as well. I mean, the defense did play pretty well. They did give up only 20 points to a team that came in averaging around 27 or 28. But this was a game the 49ers offense just didn't have the ball enough, and Garoppolo was making some plays. I go back, like I said, and you look at the numbers. He was 8 of 12 in the first half. He was 8 of 12 in the second half. They just couldn't get anything done at the end when the run game wasn't going to be a factor, and the Rams knew that it was going to be time to pass. They just couldn't get it done. And I think that leads to why there was so little play action in this game. They weren't running the ball very well. I was surprised by it a little bit because one of the things that I noticed was, the 49ers were really trying to run the ball a lot on first and second down. I don't know why, because it seemed like the Rams were really packing the box at that point and making it so that, the 49ers were able to should have been able to take advantage of that through the air. We saw that a couple of times where they were able to take advantage of it on the earlier downs, and it just didn't work out to where I said to the person standing next to me during the game that I thought that at one point we're going to see Kyle Shanahan call play action on first down and try to take a shot or two. Never developed. So I'm not really sure. That goes back to kind of, got to try to figure out what Kyle Shanahan was seeing, and until we get the chance to see the film, we won't know. What do you think of the several missed the layup game? I didn't see that myself. I just didn't see the missed the layup games. I watched from a different vantage point today than I usually do when I'm covering the games. And so I didn't have access to replays or any kind of audio from the announcers. I don't remember seeing miss the layup game calls, but if you say so, then maybe there were some, and if that's the case, that's a bummer for the 49ers. But in the end of the day, the 49ers didn't lose the game because of the referees. They lost the game today because they didn't get the interception that hit one of their best defenders in the chest. They struggled to get off the field on third down, giving up 11 third downs on 18 attempts to the Rams. They missed some throws that they needed to make. And when they had the ball up 3 with a 2nd and 1 on their side of the field, on the plus side of the field, they were not able to pick up the first down. They were not able to do what they have done best all year long and run the ball for a first down, and that's why they lost. So, bummer for the 49ers. The Rams get to go on to the Super Bowl and have their home Super Bowl. 49ers are going to be licking their wounds. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the 49ers. There will be a lot of change coming up, and we'll get to some of that as the postseason wears on and starts to get in and get going. And we'll see how it all turns out. And Paul, thank you very much. I'm glad that you like the work. Thank you very much, and keep on tuning in because there's going to be a lot of 49ers talk over the offseason here as they start to rebuild and get this team ready for 2022. And it'll be interesting to see what happens at the quarterback position. I have a pretty good feeling for what's going to happen there based off everything that we've heard and seen throughout the course of this season. But it'll still be interesting to watch how it plays out. Well, that's there's you kind of put that at the answer to your question at the end is really what matters. How do you feel about the dirty play by both teams? Rams let both sides do each other dirty all game. I didn't see a whole lot of, I don't know, again, from where I was watching the game here in the stadium, I didn't see a lot of dirty play. There was some pretty vicious hits. I know the one on Deebo Samuel the flags came out and then they picked them up, I guess. But other than that, I don't know about the dirty. Again, I wasn't watching the game on TV, so I didn't hear the what was coming from the announcers on the TV broadcast and so on and so forth. But it didn't seem like there was anything overly dirty on either side. But definitely a rough game for the 49ers. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and just say, it was a heck of a first season to be able to cover the 49ers. There's going to be a lot more coverage coming your way on this channel as this offseason gets underway here starting now tomorrow. So keep yourself locked in here to the channel. Just want to say thanks for everybody that's tuning in. If you could hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can know when we're going live so you don't miss any of the shows. That'd be much appreciated. Hope everybody is able to enjoy the rest of their Sunday, what they have left of it, and look forward to a lot of interesting 49er conversation during the off season. Take care, everybody, and I will be back at you soon.